walk in like an actor.
What's going on? What's going on?
He walk in like an actor. What up, my dog?
What's up, bro?
Hey, Freddie T.
What's up, Freddie T?
Freddie T, are you jealous because he got that edge up?
Man,
you just cut yours off?
Hey, mine was leaving anyway.
Hey, you got the Steve Harvey line.
Hey,
Come on, man.
That's a tape.
Come on, man. I'm from Chicago. I had to come represent him for y'all, brothers, right?
He still got the alcohol on, you know what I mean?
Fresh.
You see the white smoke. You see the smoke. You know I wasn't playing.
He still got that.
Keep the smoke on there.
That's what he does, yeah.
Hey, I'm proud of y'all brothers, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Appreciate you.
That's awesome.
For sure. Y'all look like former football players. Former, right? All former.
It's all former.
It's a wrap, man. That shit's
you
over
still
with.
get out there, boy.
Nah, man.
Nah?
Probably 2 years ago, I realized that it's a wrap. We was in KC, getting ready to do the rookie stuff for YouTube, and I was just simply putting my shoe on, and I twist my leg like this, and I pulled my hamstring.
Twist your leg and just pop right
That
there.
shit's over with.
Oh, wow.
It's a wrap, yeah.
Yeah, you know, Freddie T got to the league around the time you was earning your way into your high school Hall of Fame. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
That's a
You looked that up? I'm in the Hall of Fame in high school.
Yeah, I know.
You've been doing some research.
I mean, how else we gonna do this? You know what I'm saying? How else we gonna do this?
Hold up, limitless. Niggas to me, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On the vision, I can trust. Limitless. Niggas to me, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On the vision, I can trust. Limitless. Niggas to me, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up.
Corey, man, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Cory Hardrict, this is Fred Taylor, Channing Crowder. I'm Ryan Clark. Welcome to the Pivot, a part of Fanatics. Pivot fam, thank y'all for pivoting with us as always. Man, saw you recently, you was on your social media singing, and
I was singing?
somebody put a comment on there and said that divorcing the black money got you acting different.
I was in Chicago. My man, we was riding around. I was having a good time.
Yeah.
No, man, that money was different though. Shout out to Tyler Perry. He gave me an amazing opportunity to do what I love to do, and he paid me really great. And I worked on the film for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing just to do what I love, man. And so the money was having me acting different. Right? Just a little bit.
Hey, bro, as something I wanted to ask, man. Like we hear Tyler Perry.
Yes.
We see Tyler Perry. People mess with him about Madea and all that stuff. But how did he really change the game?
Just culture, just black culture, and just overall, just putting out great stuff that connects with us first, and then taking it global. So when I got the call from Mr. Perry, Meagan Goo, Meagan Goo, she's my sister. She told him that I got the actor that will kill this role. She's like Cory Hardrict. That was the first name she said, and he called me. And I always tell people this. He hit me. And he was like, "Cory, this is Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry." And then I was just like, "Wow, he's calling me." So I was just like, man, I had to wake up and wipe my eyes and everything. And then he said he was a fan of my work. And he wanted to work with me, and he said the role's mine, but I got like 48 hours to read the script, and I read it, and I connected with it, and I felt like if someone's calling me like Tyler Perry, I'm like, it's been a dream to always work with him on the right thing, and I was like, this is only right. And we came out, and it did all these crazy numbers globally, and like biggest film on Amazon history, and I'm glad I was a part of that. So I'm very, very grateful, to God.
There's a cliche
here.
saying that goes, it's about who you know. I always like to tell people it's about who knows you, because they can speak to your character.
Right.
You just mentioned Meagan.
Yes.
She told Tyler, look, I got the perfect person.
Right.
How does it make you feel when she can go out there, or other people can say, look, they can vouch for you when you might not even be considered for a job or an opportunity? How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel honored and blessed just to have people who can speak on my behalf, who knows me. And I've known Meagan for like 20 plus years, and always like in passing, but always like a good friendship. And that's what it's always been for her, just to speak my name in a room like that. And I go and do the film, and I deliver on a high level, because it's always been about work for me. None of the like celebrity, looking for attention. I've always been that take the stairs approach. I've been doing this 32 years. I feel like the hard work is paid off for all the years, and it just led up to this moment, and I was prepared for it.
Yeah, in saying though, it's about the work, and you don't do it for the celebrity. whenever you do something in the public eye, as long as you have the celebrity comes.
Yes.
And there's also the positive of when you do a good job, as you did in this latest movie, where people are they want to talk to you. It was me watching the movie, hearing you talk about it, that made me want to speak with you. And then there's also the negativity that could surround you in your life and the way people focus on you. How do you deal with the microscope that comes with what you do for a living?
I block out the noise. I'm an artist, and like I say, I've been in films shooting people, killing, violence. I've never done that in real life. I've never been to prison in my life, but I know how to tap into a character and be authentic and be real. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's got me this far. So when I read this, I was just like, there is no connection from the character to the personal, guy. And people should be able to separate the two and just say he's an artist, he's great at his craft. That's what it was. Yeah. So I just block all the noise out and just say, you know what? I keep my head focused on, the mission I'm on. I have children that I want them to look at daddy, as a positive influence for people in the generation behind me. And I got babies, man. So that's how I represent my life. Everything is for my kids on how I move in public eye, what I say, what I don't say. I look at them first.
You kind of stay out of the public as far as your personal life, which I think is, something that we as men truly respect, because we try to do the same. Home is home. But when people start to look at the movie with you and Meagan, obviously two people who publicly went through, some of their things in their relationships, and try to say, okay, they were picked for that reason. What do you have to say to some of those narratives that no, we were picked because we were the best for the job to produce? It wasn't about our personal life, because when you read certain things, that's kind of what people point to.
Yeah, because people didn't know really what it was. The title can throw it off. Like, wait, you're dealing with people who went through some real life situations. But, speaking to Tyler, he picked the best people for the job. Megan's been doing this 30 years plus. She's earned this right. She's a producer on the project. She had say on who she wanted to work with. And, I'm thankful it was me. And this role, has changed my career trajectory. Now everyone's, they're like, wait, he's been doing this for so long, but he's really that dude. You know what I'm saying? I've been really doing this. Like, if you look, I just been taking the stairs, and then this film just with Tyler involved and, Amazon, and it just took it somewhere else. So now I'm just like, I'm only doing my calling, man. That's it.
And Cory, speaking about them characters, like you said, you going to work, you're an artist.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. But you brought it up. I done seen you kill niggas. If we know, but then I done seen you cry.
I can do
I
it
done
all.
seen you, kind of be, just even right, like getting ready for those roles.
Yeah.
What is that like? Like even driving in the morning that I'm a gangster, I'm a killer, or I'm a husband, I love my wife. Like, she doesn't like me anymore. Like, do you really have to mentally?
I can slap somebody's nose off quick in a movie. Like, real quick, you know what I'm saying? But it's, like I said, it's fun. I grew up Chicago, man, so I grew up around it all. So I took family members, incorporated them to characters, friends. I'm just true to my people. Like, I love us, man. And I ain't gonna never cheat us. That's why people rock with me, man. When they see me, I love that, because I connect. It's like there's a connection with me and the culture, man, and I wanna keep it there. And I took something and made it global, saying, you gonna lose your job, bitch. You know what I'm saying? And that went worldwide. Yeah. Black man, natural. Yeah. So I ain't stopping. I'm gonna keep that same energy, As long as the people rock it, man, I'm gonna keep doing it.
And I got it. I asked Amari too.
Amari Hardrict.
That's all the same thing.
I asked about the same, like the acting, man. I seen you kill a nigga, I seen you cry, and I seen you fucking. But those sex scenes, like who do you pull from somebody?
I didn't do the last part. I haven't had that scene yet. The last ones you said, I ain't done that yet.
Well, even the intimate stuff.
The intimate stuff.
Yeah, not because Omari and what's the little Spanish girl's name on Goals? Yeah, they was going. But just like that, like the intimate side of stuff, like the marriage, you married and all this stuff. I'm not really married to you. Like, all right, what I'm saying? Like, what do you pull from with all that?
you know what? I think you still got to be true to the character. You're not yourself. So you got to service character so you can give that to people because you can't cheat people. I'm into like, I can't cheat people. If the camera goes on, whatever it takes to get in that character, I got to do it, you know, to 1,000 or I feel like I'm not doing my job, you know.
Yeah.
That's just how I look at it.
But it's not uncomfortable?
I ain't had that scene. I'll let you know when it comes about, that scene, you know, if I had to get, you know, down like that. But
but you've been in for 32 years. Well, when you was a kid. We'll get to that when you was a kid. But as like, why not? Have you not been casted for it? It's not like
it just hasn't required that in the scripts yet. Like for me. Like it's been like some kissing stuff. It's been some insinuating, but it hasn't been like he gotta get naked. Like even in the scene me and Meagan had, it was like a flashback and they piece it together. And that was very professional. Like, you know, it's like a sex coordinator in there. They making sure the padding's in between you, had the cover on, you fully clothed. People don't know. Yeah, so it's just not like you just on top of each other. And it was very respectful, but it was just quick. It was a 5-second glimpse. And that was like a scene, but it was so fast, you know? And when everyone's in between and looking, it's like,
it's not sexy.
it's not like what you think it is, man. It's just like, you know, you just like, okay, when is this over with? Like, you know?
Cory, earlier you said being able to separate art from real life.
Yes.
But not all like child actors can make this journey. Like you've been able to transcend for years. You mentioned 30 plus. Let's talk about growth. The upbringing in Chicago, because Chicago gets a whole lot of negative, you know, publicity to it. But your upbringing, like what got you into acting and how were you able to sustain?
Yeah.
I would say my mom. You know, my mom got me into acting. This was like 92. And she took me to an open casting call for Oprah Winfrey's movie called There Are No Children Here. I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was a long time ago. We went because we were on punishment, and me and my brother got in trouble. And she said, y'all gonna go be in a movie, you know? But it was for background. Like they were like reading people like to be extras. It was like 1,000 kids at Harpo Studios. Me and my brother got selected. And he actually got picked to say a line. It was just like one line in the movie. And I was just like background in that movie for like a month and a half. And that's where it started for me. But then when I saw like Oprah from a distance, you know, back then it was Oprah, Jordan, you know, like that was Chicago. It was like, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, there's Oprah Winfrey. You know, it's still like that. I felt like something hit me where I said I could possibly do this for a career, and it happened out of that. And my next movie was Sidney Poitier, To Serve with Love Part 2. They did a remake on television, like a television remake, and I got my first like few lines. And my mother was able to see that movie, and at the same time she was going through her illness. And you know, she would be like, she was so proud of me just from those 2 jobs. And then I did something for S-Curl. Like I was in Jet Magazine, right? And I had like this big old, remember them the hairstyles, S-Curl?
Yeah.
So I was on the like billboards, everything, Chicago. So she would keep it by her hospital bed. And she would show all the nurses, like, that's my baby. Like she was so proud, so proud. And then, you know, she just wanted me to keep doing this, you know, because we all didn't think this was gonna happen because it happened so fast. She was 41 years old. I was just like, if something happens, I'm gonna move to California, keep that dream alive for her, and praise God, man, I'm still here.
When you think back on what she sowed into your life, because God puts people in our lives to push us toward our passions, and sometimes it is, you know, your mother or your father, but how does the memories of, hey, I'm gonna take you to go try out or go audition for this movie that Oprah is doing, or the excitement of even seeing you on a billboard, how does that continue to push you to live your passions and your dreams?
The smile it put on her face, you know, that I made my mom proud. Before she left, you couldn't tell me, like, I wasn't this Oscar award winner at that time, you know? She was so proud, like, that's my baby, you know? He's in the business and he's successful. Like, I was everything to her. So losing your mom at that age, it actually, you know, prepared me for life, you know, for a lot of different obstacles that I had to face, like moving here with no money and not being able to afford rent and just odd jobs, but her strength has allowed me to continue to carry on every day, to say that it's never as bad as losing my mom. So anything I go through now, it's just like it's nothing. It hurts, but it's like I'm gonna keep pushing on.
When did it become your dream as well? Because as a parent, you can want something for your children. You have children, we all do. You can want something for your children, but if they don't want that same thing, and if they don't want it as badly as they need to in order to accomplish it, then they don't become that thing. Like, we all play football. His child plays sports. His child played the same school he went to. My child now plays at Notre Dame, and you push them and you want them to succeed, but they don't see that level of success without that level of commitment.
Right.
When did it stop being the punishment your mom enforced on you and started to become your dream?
I would say after she passed away.
Oh.
I got serious, about the dream after she passed away. I sat around Chicago for 3 years, what am I gonna do with my life? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what direction I wanted to go in, because my mom was everything. From buying the Jordans to, she worked at thrift stores, odd jobs, but I never was without. So that was, seeing how hard she worked for us. Just look back, it's just amazing just to see a woman like that. And she didn't graduate high school. She went to 9th grade education, but I had it all. So I'm my mom showed me what it was to work hard for things in life and have passion and go after it and have faith. So, yeah, but her passing, it got serious 3 years later. And then I said, when I moved to LA, I was on a plane, I had a one-way ticket. I was looking out the window, looking up and looking at her. When I fly on planes, I have to have a window seat so I can talk to her. Every job I get, it's that gets me closer to her. I've been doing that for 30 years.
What's the conversation like to talk to her? What are you? Fred has asked this question very often on this show. We've had, multiple people lose parents that are extremely successful. And I love it when he asks this question. He always says, do you ever talk to them? And when people say yes, he says, what are those conversations about? When you're sitting by that window traveling, what are your conversations with your mother?
Mom, I'm still here. She always used to say something like, turn it up a notch, And then that's what I always hear her tell me, you know what I'm saying? I'm still in it, for the long game. I'm not playing short victories. I'm looking at what's the long-term effect of everything. And what I do now affects that, you know what I'm saying? So, like I say, I keep that in mind. I keep her at the center and in front of everything I'm doing. Just everything.
Cory, with that, I thought about when Ryan said it, he trained his son. I know RC trains his son. Right now, my son's only 13, but I'm out there in the yard with him with the ladders and all that.
Me too, yeah, my son, yeah.
Okay, so so the training, but from your angle, you even say your mama say go harder. Mm-hmm. Being young and coming up and trying to be the man that you built yourself into be.
Right.
There ain't no ladders. There ain't no weight bench. There ain't no 40s.
Yeah,
right.
How did you build this when you took it serious, as you said?
How? Just hard work, man. Just hard work. Like I say, I've been a student of the game. I've watched all my favorite actors' movies times 10 over. Wesley Snipes was always my favorite. Denzel, of course, Leonardo DiCaprio. I watch a lot of movies. And when I read scripts and I read my lines when I get auditions, I try to make each line an individual movie. How do I make this line memorable forever? That's how I approach my material. That's why I have a lot of classic one-liners, because I want that to always be something that people always remember, so I don't never phone it in on no performances, and that's just the mindset I have.
What's your favorite line then? Cancel this bitch, I'll buy a new one, or always bet on black?
All Eyes on Me. I don't really seen that movie.
Yeah.
When the dude walked up, that was an ad-lib scene. I was just don't you ever get in my face again, I'll bite your motherfucking nose off. See, that go to nose again. I stuck with this nose in 5 different movies and projects. That was ad-lib.
Yeah.
So when people come up, they always say, hey man, I'll bite your. So I said, I got him, you know?
You ain't watch Wesley. Wesley had one line.
I got him.
I'm talking about.
Oh, Wesley was hitting
Wesley had one line.
But even the training, like you said, you watch a Denzel, you watch a Leo. You watch it and then you pause it and try to do the line? Like,
Oh, do I watch? I
like
don't
do you
try
watch
to
a movie
copy
and
them.
try to be that person? Like, how do you? Bro, it's a
about
career.
practice.
Like the practice of it. Like that's the crazy thing to me is what you've done is amazing.
Thank you, man. I
But
appreciate
the
that.
young kids right now that want to be
How do you do it?
How do they
How
do it?
to
A
do
dude
it?
at 10, 11
I would say
years old.
I would say work on your craft. Like I've done a lot of classes. I still coach to this day. Every job I get, every night I go back home to my acting coach or a hotel, and we get in for the next day. So I still do that to this day. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to be like prepared. You know, I got to know the other person's lines. I got to know everything, storylines, arcs. So I still do that. So I would say work on your craft because that'll give you the 30 years. A lot of people just get in and want to be on TV or, you know, want to do movies, and that's cool too. But that could be short-lived. You know, it could be short-lived. So I'm like, let me always keep the craft at the forefront, and that's what's going to sustain me for the career I want. And I'm still here, and I feel like I'm a new artist. You know, there's directors I still want to work with. I haven't had the opportunity to get in front of, like the Spike Lees, the Ryan Cooglers. Like Tyler was like the first one of our culture, big, you know, figure who said he was a fan of me. I didn't even know he knew me. And now I work with Tyler, and that's my guy, and we're actually doing another film next summer just from this opportunity. You know, he saw my work ethic, he saw my professionalism, and he saw that, you know, we broke records together, so let's keep it going. So I'm very grateful for him.
I love that.
And even if we cool, like we not cool when we filming. If we're like protecting, we not friends or nothing. I'm for the character, like always, and I want you to bring out your best. But it's all love though.
But can you tell us this?
So
Nah, I be putting the little extras on it.
you can't throw the B word out at black people, bro. Just
But I like, you know,
Without
I like to
telling
trigger you on. I know. See, that's the thing. I like, you know, I did the same thing to Meagan the first day. Meagan showed up. Here's a story I always say. Meagan came in and she had to sign a divorce papers at the table. I said something else, and I said some bitch to her too. She looked at me like this. Tyler said, "Cory, hold on, let me talk to you for a minute." Tyler pulled me around the corner. Like, "Cory, I love what you're doing right now, but we're not gonna do that right now, okay?" I love it. Stay there. He said, "Stay there," but he knew what I was doing.
Right.
And he let me lock in, and that was the last time he ever spoke to me like anything. I thought I was about to get fired, and your ass going back to LA, man. You can't be called a star of the movie this, but Meagan knew what I was doing, and ever since me and Meg was locked in the whole film, and you know, look at the results, man. So I'm all about look at the results. That's
But when
it.
you
Let's get
smacking a bitch nose off and then they say cut, is it, hey man, we gonna have a beer? Me and you can't tell me that shit. Now we cool as soon as they turn this camera off, nigga. We gotta talk about this around the corner where you and Tyler was.
Look, like I said, I'm in the service, and I got to get the people what they want to see. Like I can't. I'm always like, what do the people want to see in my community, Chicago? What do they love? And I'm like, I'm gonna keep giving them that, and it works for me. And it works, so I'm gonna keep doing that.
Have your kids, Cree and Cairo, right?
Yes.
Have they done anything bad enough to get forced into acting? Or coming up in your household, have they seen enough to like just want to go do it on their own?
No, my son is a hooper. He's a ball player. Like he
Love
wants the
that.
ball. I got him with like Chris Johnson hoops,
Yeah.
you know, and Cory. So he wants to play ball. He's at a cool school, and that's his focus. His mom got him in acting, and he had jobs, opportunities, but he was just like, after he did it, he was just like, oh, I'm cool. I want to play ball. So, you know, us as parents, we respect him, listening to him. It's my job to put him in position to succeed, and I'm doing that. And the rest is he gotta want it, you know. And sometimes I wish he had that upbringing like me, because you know, LA, you know, it's sushi involved, and it's nannies, you know, all these first class trip, you know. So, but I try to give him that. I say the good times approach. Remember James Evans?
Yeah.
Like I try to instill that type of thing into my son, that you got to work for everything. You know, life is not easy, you know, because when you get out of school, you know, it's a real world out there, you know, that's when life begins. So I'm trying to prepare him for that now.
And parenting being, you being very involved, and obviously their mother being very involved, the co-parenting side of it, and trying to make sure that you both are still in the same lane of raising your children to the best of your ability. How has it been adapting to that and continuing to do such a good job as y'all are?
Everything is about the kids. you know, their well-being, their future, and just co-parenting, you know what I'm saying? And keeping it still a family and keeping it love-based. You know, still keeping God first at the center of everything and just walking with love, man. That's all it's about. You know, I wish her the best with everything, and that's unconditional for me. You know, I love unconditional. I can't get caught up in what's going on out there, what people are saying. I just know where my heart is at, and I have to continue to move that way because I want all my blessings for me. You know, and if I succeed, she succeeds, our kids succeed. You know, so I have no room for failure or no room for no, you know, mistakes right now in my life. That's how I look at it.
You know, obviously this is our first time meeting.
Yes.
Just even.
I saw you in.
We said Essence, yeah, but we didn't get to talk. We just dabbed
like,
off.
hey, what's going on? Yeah, I remember.
Cause I was over there, I was like, man, I see Cory over there. I was like, I bought these tickets. They don't look like Cory bought these tickets. You know, the woman that run Essence Fest, she over there dancing. I was like,
you was in line and he walked past.
I felt some type of way. Hey, look, he come to dab me off. He got security in between me and him.
Hey, man.
I was like, I'm not gonna try to jump on Cory. Like, I'm behind the railing.
We saw Future in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I put my hand out to give him dap, and security guard slapped my wrist. I was like, nigga, you down, don't act crazy now. I know this man famous, but yeah.
Hey, fellas, you ever felt just a sense of uneasiness when you leave your crib, like something's gonna happen?
I remember having my vehicle stolen.
Yeah.
And that was the worst feeling ever. I mean, someone came in my yard and took a car. When all of that happened, I knew I needed something. I knew I needed something to keep my family safe. So now that I have Simply Safe, I can look through my phone, I can monitor everything. I get instant alerts. The response is quick, few seconds, so I'm good.
After we started all this traveling, I did the research and I found Simply Safe. Man, the live monitoring, anything that happens, I can speak. If I see somebody outside the door with Simply Safe, I can talk to the intruder right there. Don't do that. 5 seconds protection. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just love it. And right there on your phone, man, it makes me feel good for my baby to be in the house, my wife to be in the house with Simply Safe.
It's easy to install and activate your Simply Safe system in less than an hour, or choose a professional installation to have a pro do it for you.
You're not locked into no long-term deal. It's $1 a day for the safety of your family. I love that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can be anywhere in the world. I can log into the app and I can have a sense of control of what's happening at my house, but more importantly, a sense of security. I mean, there's really no safe like Simply Safe.
Simply Safe has been named Best Home Security System by US and World News for now 5 years running. Everybody knows about Simply Safe. Get you one. It's my babies. I want to protect your babies too.
Protect your home with 50% off with a new Simply Safe system, plus the free security camera when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/pivot. That's simplysafe.com/pivot.
There's no safe like Simply Safe. How do you tap into those other things? You know, like on the football field, that was our sanctuary. Like that's a place where the rules say you can go be these things and you could be aggressive and you could be violent and it's actually applauded if you're that way. But then we had to cut that off, right? I had to go home and I had to raise 2 girls. I had to teach a son how to be a man and tell him, okay, you're gonna have to provide. You're gonna have to be a caretaker. Tell him all of those things. And then the next day, Sunday at 1 o'clock, when the ball is kicked, I had to leave all that there.
I see.
How do you separate those things? How you say, you know, you want to tap into a character and motivate Meagan and motivate the other people you're working with by the way you approach them. How do you get there?
How do I get there? I mean, easy. I feel like I've been doing it so long, I can go from 0 to 100 when the camera's rolling. And then when it cuts off, I can go right back to neutral Cory. Like, I don't take it with me. Like, you know, I bring it when it's time. Like, I'll need my space. Like, say, like, when I get to work and I'm preparing in my trailer, you know, people know, like, okay, he locked in. I can't be asking. I don't want to get all the small talk going, but, you know, I know how to separate the two, you know, pretty much like that.
On a recent panel, you said you couldn't sleep for 1.5 years or something, and that you cried for a lot of that time. How difficult was that period in life for you? Because we know as men and as black men, we're starting to get into a space where we talk about not only mental health, but emotional health.
Right.
And we've learned ways to be vulnerable and open. But to share that in a room full of people, I mean, that's something that you felt deeply. How did you find a way to get through that time while also having to still be a father, a provider,
Right.
and do your job?
You know, I feel like you'll never get through that. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of praying, a lot of knowing that God is real. God is actually truly real in my life. A lot of stillness, man. When you sit still a lot, you know, you can hear a lot of things for me. A lot of isolation, solitude, and just knowing, you know, if I can just put one foot in front of the other, you know, and take it a day at a time. Because I'm taking it a day at a time, still to this day.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I just take it a day at a time. You know, black men have feelings. You know, black men hurt. Black men are in like pain, and sometimes we don't have outlets to, you know, like talking to you now. No one really asks me these questions, never really. So it's like sometimes we feel like we're dealing with it alone, not unless you have like a therapist or, you know, a close confidant or like friend. But it's not easy because it feels like as a black man, you can't show vulnerability to the world, you know, because it's a form of weakness. But it should be looked at as a form of strength, you know, like men do need to cry, you know, because when it's all bottled up, you know, and inside, you know, that's when stress, things can happen, different tensions. You got to be able to have a outlet to release. Like I said, that's the only way that you can get to the true healing of everything. So, yeah, when I was speaking in Miami, that's just how I felt at the time. You know, so to this day, I look at my kids and say, Daddy got you forever. You know, I look at my daughter, you know, when they smile at me and they know Daddy really loves them. My son knows Daddy really loves me. That's what brings me joy right now. And that's what keeps me saying, I'm on my way. I want to be the biggest in the world, you know, from a humble place, but I feel like from a skill set, I feel like I am that dude. Like, that's just how I really feel. And I feel like I can step into that more because of my children, because of my mom and having the promise I gave her. And I'm ready to do all those things. So
that's also a Chicago mindset. We try to pride ourselves on this show with being transparent. We get messages all the time. The amount of people that tap in or email or DM that say how we've helped change their lives, I think we believe that's important. And you just mentioned being in Miami. Just recently, not too long ago, Tyreek Hill got into a situation.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Some people say it was as simple as just rolling down the window. You said you got your children, you got them for life. If you had to tell your son, if he were in that situation, would you say, look, man, just roll down the damn window?
I would say always listen to a police officer and follow, like, if they're telling you to do something, comply.
Right.
Just do it. Because you want to do what you can to get home. You know, not saying that, you know, Tyreek was in the wrong or anything like that. When I saw it, I feel like the police just rushing the car, and I was just like, that was a whole bunch. It didn't have to go down that way, but being a black man, you have to always be extra cautious with everything. You got to throw in some yes sirs, no sir.
That's real.
I act like when the police pull me over, I know like it could go left. If I say the wrong thing and he had a bad day, he can use it out on me. And I just say, nah, I'm getting home to my kids, and Daddy I gotta live.
Hell yeah.
So that's what keeps me on swivel and how I'm moving.
I want to ask you about being a black man in acting, though. Because it's like Lamar Jackson, and every time Lamar wins his MVP, Patrick Mahomes goes off. They're like, oh, you got to bring up Doug Williams, you got to bring up Randall Cunningham, you got to bring up, like, does it offend you when they're like, he's a great black actor? Because you're just a great actor.
Here's the thing. I've worked with Clint Eastwood twice, you know, American Sniper and Gran Torino. Those were his biggest films ever. In Warner Brother history, they grossed almost $1 billion. So it's just like I've done 7 action films, you know, so I've been doing this for like a while, but then it's still tough. You know, I can be in a film that breaks records at Amazon, and then people still like, come in and audition. Yeah. He still ain't enough, like he still ain't proved. Oh, I don't know if he's right. I'm just like, I just did the biggest face on the billboard. It went global, and I played a street dude. Like he was from the hood street guy. What more do I need to show you? So it's like, it's never enough for us. It feels like we gotta just keep proving and proving and proving. But you know what? That's what makes us resilient and strong. And I feel like we don't stop. And that, I love it this way because it just makes me keep, the hunger is still, okay, cool, y'all didn't get it. Like, you know, I just don't do hood films. You know, it's well-rounded. I've done films that travel overseas.
You did that film with Drew Barrymore, right?
Wow, that was a long...
Back in the day. Yeah.
That was back in the day. Yeah, you talking about Never Been Kissed?
Right.
Yeah, so it's just like I have over 110 credits, like resume credits, and I got my first credit actually, SAG credit here, you know, and I'm just like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
For today's video, we have a special one. I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, SoFi, the all-in-one finance app.
I know personally sports can change a kid's life, but a lot of families, they just can't afford it. But SoFi is changing that for a number of families.
Together, they're awarding $100,000 to public high school sports teams across the country through the SoFi Generational Wealth Fund. It's all about young athletes having a chance to reach their ambitions.
That's $50,000 for one public high school team and $10,000 for 5 other public high school teams. Man, back in Belgrade, Mug City, we would have loved this type of opportunity.
If you're a part of a team that can use an assist, head to SoFiGameChangers.com. I see kids all the time. My coach, I play with kids all the time. They have all the talent, but they don't have the money to get to that next level. Submit a short video showing what your team is all about.
Tell us about the work you've put in, why your team is so special, and what you're trying to accomplish this season. You have from now until October 7th to submit your team. So click the link in the description or go to SoFiGameChangers.com to enter.
Good luck on it and tell them that Pivot sent you. Thank you so much to SoFi.
No purchase necessary, 50 USDC, 18 plus who are nominators and either parent, guardians of the public high school students, a current or former high school athlete, or employed by a public high school. Void where prohibited by law. Contest entry period ends at 6:59 a.m. Pacific time, 10/7/24, subject to official rules, including methods of entry, limit prizes, and judging criteria. SoFiGameChangers.com sponsors Social Finance LLC.
You got a chance to bring Cree to the BET Awards.
Yes.
Right, and you know, that was in our sport, it's, unless you start having babies early, they don't really get to experience the sport. You know, I had my son when I was 21, so in my career, he got to go to Super Bowls and he got to be a part of those things, and those are still memories we share and conversations we have. You get to this point this summer and it's an opportunity to say, hey man, you come with me. I want to show you this. And he said, it's not only like the first thing I've been to like this, it's the biggest event I've ever been to in my life. What's it like to stand on the carpet with him and take pictures and be like, man, this is my boy, and he knows that like my dad's doing something where people care about.
That was beautiful for him to see his father in that space, and then he got inspired because he saw people that he admired, like NLE. He took pictures where he's like, that's on his screensaver now. He's like, that's one of my favorite rappers. So that gave him some motivation to do better in school. He started this school year, you know, all the teachers like, my son's locked in, he's doing well. You know, he's focused, he's attentive, and you know, last year he started like on a slow start, but he got inspired like to do better in school, to do better in his eating, like his regimen for basketball, and that was all because of, you know, BET Awards, I believe. You know, seeing that, you know, if you do the right things in life, you know, and what you're supposed to and have the discipline, then you can get the rewards later. You know, you gotta just sacrifice now. And he's seen all the sacrifices I've been making. And also I took him to Chicago a few weeks ago. I threw the first pitch out for the Cubs game. Yeah. They surprised him with his jersey, and that was another moment. He was just like, Dad, he told me, Dad, I really want to go to the NBA. And I said, son, you can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to, but we have to work. And he said, Dad, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna do right in school. I always tell him school first, because you can't play ball without education. They ain't gonna let you. So I always preach school, you know, listen to your parents, and then hard work, dedication, and keeping God first.
It's out there with the kids. This advice, honestly.
Yeah.
When you do a show, movie, whatever you're doing, you're an artist.
Yes.
I struggle now. I have a 13, 11-year-old, and they have Instagram, they have social media.
Yeah.
And they'll come home and tell me, my friend saw you talk to Shaq or talk to Cory or talk to somebody.
Right.
And I resist letting them watch the full episodes of The Pivot. Because sometimes
As you should.
I know, so sometimes the conversations get too deep.
It gets
Sometimes
deep.
different things like we say and we talk about sitting here, I'm like, a 13-year-old shouldn't see that. Do your kids, is it open to watch anything that daddy's in?
It's not, but you know, kids are gonna watch it anyway. Sometimes, you know, when you're not there, they still know, they're in tune. So sometimes I'm like, you know, you gotta know what the real world is like. Have the knowledge and knowing from your parents to know what's right and wrong. But I don't try to hide things from my son, because if you don't show him or he don't see it now, he gonna go see it later. So he might as well just kind of know and see it, be educated on what it is, but consequences of things that, you know, from your actions, you know what I'm saying, and what it could lead to.
Yeah,
so I don't try to hide nothing.
I tell people all the time, I was like, you know, I don't lie to my kids. Now, there are things I don't tell my children,
Yeah.
you know, but I don't lie to them. I don't ever want, whether it's my son or my 2 girls, to come to me and say, Daddy, I asked you this,
Right.
and you lied to me. Now, there may be some things that they find out down the line, and they may say, well, Dad, I never knew this. And I can say, well, at the time, I didn't think it was something you needed to know or something that would be good for you to know. In communicating with them as they get older, what are some of the things that you want to instill in them that make you who you are, right? Because like with me, with my son, it's like, hey man, hard work is important, right? The dedication to making sure you and your mother and your sisters are good is important to me, because I want those things to be important to him going forward. Now for you, when you're sharing those gems with Cree, or even in the protection of what it is to be a father to a young daughter in Cairo, what are some of the things you try to impart on them when you have those times?
Just love, man. I just try to love my kids and just love on them and just be the best dad I could be, you know, not the perfect dad, but just the best dad I can be for my kids, to know they're supported, they're loved, they can come to daddy for anything, but I also let my son know to, you know, keep dreaming for a living. You know, there's no limit, there's no ceiling to what you want to do, son. Like, he likes to fly planes, and, you know, he wants to go to aviation school or take that up in college. And I'm like, you can do that too. He said he wants an MBA and fly planes. I said, do both. And, you know, I'm not the dad to just be like, oh, that dream is too big. Nah, man, you got to keep dreaming. As long as you put that out there in the world and have faith and you work hard, I think all things are attainable on this earth. And that's all I try to teach to my kids.
Now, I just want to touch back on the Chicago Cubs moment.
Yeah.
You know, just being there with your son, Wrigley Field. I was in Chicago not too long ago, and I just hear all these people around me talking about going out to a Cubs game. It's like a tourist destination.
Tourist, yeah.
Very.
Yes,
Right. So, but Wrigley Field, you know, how historical that is as
the
an organization.
IV on the back, right.
Correct. Like that particular moment, you know, being able to cast out the first pitch, growing up in Chicago, seeing just everything Chicago, but here you are throwing out the first pitch. What was that like?
That was surreal, because my first Little League team was the Cubs. I put a slide on my Instagram to show that was my first baseball team. I grew up Cubs. Wow. You know, growing up Chicago Cubs, like Andre Dawson, Ryan Sandberg, Sean Dunn, like I grew up that, so I never imagined ever that I would be able to be on that field. So when they asked me, and then I saw my name all over the Wrigley Field, and you know, I did water up. And that was a moment when I was just like, man, Mom, I'm here. You know, not even saying I made it. I'm just like, man, Mom, I'm really like here. You know, I have a long way to go, but this is something to take in and be grateful and thankful for. And then to see my son, and he's on the side with me, and he's just like, wow, Dad, this is so cool. You know what I'm saying? And just having him there with me, man, that was a dream come true, man.
Chan, man, you been watching the Yankees? Juan Soto killing them this year.
Oh boy, they might win it all. Juan and Big Judge and them boys, goddamn, man, they gonna do something.
And bruh, the Soto shuffle, hey, that's my joint. You think you could do it?
I can try, but I ain't gonna disrespect Juan like that. The man himself, I like to watch him do it.
And your knees touch too, so that probably...
My Kenny Smith ain't gonna do it.
Hey, Fanatics is offering a once-in-a-lifetime experience to meet Juan Soto. All they gotta do is download the Fanatics app and play free daily games. And bruh, you might get a chance to learn the Soto Shuffle from the man himself.
Back to what RC said earlier, if she was here to see you throw out that pitch, what would she say to you?
She would just hug me and tell me how much she loves me, how much she's proud of me. You know, as black men, or just men, period, you just want to hear someone tell you they support you and they love you, you know, and that gives you strength to keep going and just give you a hug sometimes. That's all you need is a hug. And just say, I'm proud of you. You know, we don't get it. I don't think we get enough of that. It's always a lot of tearing down. You know, it's a lot of divisiveness, putting people against people. But, you know, I don't believe in none of that. You know, I feel like it's not healthy for the future of anything. It's not, nothing can be progressive with negative energy. You know, life is too short, and we had it hard enough to be in this position. I'm sure you guys had to fight to get the podcast or fight in the league, and I had to fight and struggle to get here. So why tear down? Let's just continue to build up, you know, and be the example for the people behind us, our children. So I don't believe in nothing, tearing nothing down, and you'll never hear me speaking down on anyone.
That's the question I wanted to ask you. You are here now, and you've thrown out the pitch, and you're talking. You and Tyler are going to do another movie because of what you were able to create together. But your ascension hasn't been like this, right? There's been waves and dips and valleys in it. How have
still dips?
Yeah, it's to say, like, how do you maintain, like, yourself in those moments? Because you can feel good, like you can have this emotional moment where you tear up with your son and you can bring him to the BET Awards, and then as entertainment goes, the next year you may not be at those things. You may not be sitting down for all the interviews. Mm-hmm. What are those moments like where you kind of think to yourself, well, dog, I was just there, like I already showed y'all.
I showed them, and I keep showing them. Like, I've been in, like I tell you, #1 films. I have like 7 or 8 projects on Netflix now, if you just type my name in. Mm-hmm. I did a film called Brotherly Love. You know, it was a low-budget film. We shot in Philly. It did like 700 million hours on Netflix. Right. So the young culture, I couldn't go nowhere. I'm like, June, you know. Boy, I'm like, June. I'm like, I'm not June, y'all, stop. But what I'm saying is, it still feels sometimes like you starting over to prove yourself. And it's just like, not to our people, because I can't go nowhere outside of it. LA, you know, you at Starbucks, they're like, we just seen Eddie Murphy, he ain't nothing. You know, LA's different. Yeah. But everywhere else, it's just like, I need some security, and it's just like, that's Cory. And I'm just like, sometimes I'll be like, I wish Hollywood can see, like, I do have the culture, the people, you know, but to them, they're just like, you know, that's fine, though. It is what it is.
The hell with Hollywood. You, because you brought up, like you said, worldwide, 700 million hours, all the stuff you said, and we know it, 32 years. And the Cubs game, we were like, you teared up.
I teared up.
What's your proudest moment in your life where you look back and say, it's that?
My proudest career moment? Or
your proudest career? Well, you always got to take the babies out of it, because watch it. You got to take the babies out. You got to take all the, but your career moment, I worked this hard. I've watched, like you said, I've watched all these films. I worked on my craft, everything you said. I did this.
I would say the new film that just came out, Divorcing a Black, because this was the first film for like our culture that I was like a face of, like major face of. And then I proved like myself, you know. I mean, Tyler, he set it up for us to succeed with this, but you know, we still had to go out and do the characters and stuff. But the film, it was a global #1 film. I never had a global #1 film that I was like a part of a face of. And like I said, they're still saying, can he do more, you know?
Show us again.
I'm like, damn, you know, I'm showing that I'm a leading man, you know, I'm showing that, you know, I can get out there and rock with the best of them, and that's all I want. I wish it was fair, but it's not fair. But that's okay. I would say this film right here.
That's cool.
Yeah, this film.
Like how, you know, because I always talk about crabs in the barrel.
Yeah.
Right, and you mentioned like you're never going to be a part of tearing anything down, which I love. Right, and I talk about history sometimes and how certain spaces have made us feel, or they try to make us feel like it's not enough room for us all, right? When I always try to tell people, hey, we all can eat. And if I'm eating good over here, there are ways I can bring you with me. How competitive is it though for Black actors, right? Where it's like, okay, how you said, man, I can play a street dude, I can do this, but sometimes you get typecast as this is what you're gonna be.
Right.
How difficult is that to prove and dispel that you do have the ability to be a diverse, thespian? You know?
I've showed that. Like the show I'm on, All American Homecoming, I played a coach, father figure. You know what I'm saying? He was all positive. He was hard-nosed. He was tough. You know, he loved the students. So I showed that, you know, that type of character as well with that. It's very inspiring. But like I said, I'm, you know, God willing, I don't think I'm get typecast at all because I'm an actor. Yeah. You know, I would love to play romantic comedies. I'm funny. You know, a lot of my drama is funny. It's just grounded in just straight, you know, but it's funny. People laughing off of it. Yeah. Like I said, I can play any character, you know, and I feel like it's not just about black and white or anything. It's just all about playing good characters and good roles, you know, that transcend for the world. And I feel like I'm a global actor. I showed that. Yeah. You know, I really do feel that way.
He can't play an old dude with facial hair because he clearly can't grow nothing.
You saw the sideburns.
Hey, my dog can't grow no facial hair.
They compare me to Ike Turner, man.
Them one yours. Quickly, what role is most like yourself that you've played?
I would say Battle Los Angeles. I don't know if y'all seen this film I did. Alien invasion film, fighting LA. The character, this is how I tell you how great God is. The character on paper, he was written Italian, and I went in, auditioned for him, and changed the name to Lockett. But the guy was from the south side of Chicago. He lost his mother and he lost his brother. And that was on the breakdown. And I had lost my brother. He was murdered in Chicago 16 years ago, and my mom. And I said, and the guy was from the south side, so I felt like that role was written for me. And this was before I got the role, you know, and I was just like, oh, this has to be a sign. And then I wound up that was like my first big studio movie, so that one meant the most to me and still do to this day.
Cory, Chan asked you your most proud moment or your proudest moment. I want to ask you what's been your biggest pivot? Your biggest pivot in life, that's a moment or moments where you can look back and say, without this happening to me, I wouldn't be who I am today.
I would say my children. That changed me, you know, for the best and for the better, you know, and having a daughter, you know, changed me as well, you know, because you look at everything different. When you have a daughter, it's like, it's delicate situation, everything is, you gotta be gentle, you know, you gotta listen more. But yeah, having a daughter changed it all for me. And my son, of course, but just that daughter moment, like, you know, it's like, because the daughter, when you see her, you can just break down in her arms. You know, it's like, you know, I love that feeling too. And I love that she knows that I got her, you know, for the rest of her life, so.
When we become one with a person, especially somebody that does the same thing that we do, the culture grabs onto it. You know, we got into a little trouble when our show first started because we said something about Sierra and Russell Wilson. And it was opinion, and it wasn't negative about who they were, but the culture in our community was like, those are ours, you know. And then to see you stand alone, man, and continue to be your authentic self and continue to show love and continue to not tear down, I just want to say I commend you for that. The ability to be open and to be vulnerable when people may not be saying the best things about you because they don't know what's actually going on in your life. They don't know how you truly behave. They don't know how you truly treat people. And for me, man, to even in researching to sit down with you today, to never see you say anything negative, to never see you cause any division based on what you allow people to know publicly, I think that's so commendable. And I think not just black men, more men need to understand that there's a responsibility as a man to behave as one. You know, and I think you've exemplified that, you know, through what at least we've been able to see publicly. And I didn't want to let you leave here without knowing that I appreciate that example, you know, from you.
Thank you.
I truly do.
That means a lot. Just from y'all brothers, positive brothers, just having me here with y'all. You know, I feel the love in the room. And it's genuine, it's real, and thank you. Thank you. Proud of you guys.
That's
man.
perfect, man.
Bro, don't ask us, have you seen this movie? Nigga, we seen all your movies, man.
I know Hollywood
I can't believe though.
Man,
I can't believe
everything, bro.
Like, I can't believe that you just make that
What them
jump.
Bears gonna do, though?
Thank you, brother.
Hey,
Yeah, what them
because I
Bears
can't
They
act
not
like
gonna make
that.
the playoffs.
Every time he says, I don't know if
They
y'all
just
seen,
they
we
came
like,
out the gate,
Yeah.
though. They just got
Bears
one.
always win like 2 or 3 early, and then shit just start going bad after the 7th game. We doing the penitentiary. That's what we doing.
Whatever you got.
Yeah, we do.
I ain't gonna do that, man.
Yeah, you do. I ain't been to the penitentiary, but
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On this vision I can trust. Trust, limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up.